Hello and welcome, you join me ADG, and here we are for round 4 race 2 of NxtGen Racing's GT4 Ginetta Championship. Oh, that's a mouthful. So this is at Kyalami in South Africa. We're on a Seto course of competitors only. Like I've just mentioned, this is race 2 of 2 races that were held on Monday night. I've already done a video of race 1, so if you want to go back and watch race 1 from my point of view, feel free to look on my YouTube, you'll find it there. But for this one, yeah, this was another interesting race. Race 1 of these 2 races was good, full of action, but this was interesting for another reason. The clouds opening once again and giving us a wet race. Not right from the start, about 5 minutes in it started raining. So here we go. Get this one underway in 10 seconds. We get the rolling start started, and yeah, just watch this one back all the way through. I'm afraid I'm not going to cut this one down. It's quite good, so quite a good race, and I feel to cut it down it won't really show the development of the wet track as it rained more and more, and obviously got wetter and wetter. So here we go.
Low tire pressure, stay away from curbs.
So I came 7th in the first race around this track on Monday night. Qualified in 5th for this one. But at the bottom there is a 5-minute weather forecast and a 15-minute weather forecast, and both of them at the moment showing rain. So at the moment we're starting in the dry, but everyone knows that the rain's coming and it's coming quickly. So we've got a few laps to try and make, what's the saying, make hay whilst the sun shines.
Car on the left, clear on the left.
Get into T1 nice and cleanly. Get kind of sandwiched here. If you look on the radar at the top, that was incredibly close. Nearly 3 wide, and I was the filling in the sandwich.
Clear on the right.
So I was lucky to get out of that one nice and easily. Car just flicking out to the left with a little bit of oversteer on the exit of the second corner there. Or the third corner, should I say. A little bit of contact from the guys behind, which drops them off the back of me. They were right on my bumper, so it just gives me a little bit of breathing room from behind all of a sudden. I can just concentrate on the guy in front now for the rest of lap 1. So up front we've got Mamster, RV Motorsport in 2nd, Gnarly Pop in 3rd, and then I'm in 4th with Beam Flicker in 5th. Incredibly close to the back of the strangely the Ginetta in front. Good section of track is this. Love flying down that bit. Really good fun. Both me and Gnarly Pop going a little bit deep into there on T1, on lap 1 should I say. If you've ever watched any of my commentary before, you'll realise I'm a real pro and I don't make any mistakes, so yeah, that's a definite rarity, that little mistake I made there. Couldn't happen like 30 times a video or anything. Don't mind, I've been doing these videos for a long time now as well. You'd think I'd have got a little bit better. So Gnarly Pop taking a slight defensive line into T1 there. I just took the normal racing line hoping that I'd get some kind of opportunity on the exit, but Gnarly Pop doing a good job on the brakes and with the narrower line, getting the job done on the exit as well. Just chasing him down the best I can, keeping an eye on Beam Flicker behind as well. He's only 0.6 of a second behind, not far. Just over half a second. So the guys up front in 1st and 2nd, Mamster and RV Motorsport, looking to make a move on each other. RV trying to get past Mamster for 1st place. Didn't quite make it work into there though, so dropped back into 2nd. So again, we're all nervously waiting for the rain to start really. Obviously, when it does start raining, it does take a while for the track to get wet. but it does leave you wondering every single lap what the grip level is going to be like. RV Motorsport again right on the bumper of Mamster, putting the pressure on, not quite getting any opportunity down the inside there. Looked like Mamster outbroke himself there, but he just took an incredibly wide braking line, turned it in nicely in the end. Gnarly Pop just hitting the sausage curb a little bit too aggressively, firing himself outside of the white lines on the left hand side there. Covered it back up nicely though, no big dramas. Didn't even lose any time really.
Well done, mate. This has been your personal best.
So good hard racing going on in these opening laps. Everyone's trying to find their feet. You do start with cold tyres in these GT4 cars as well, so it does take a lap or two to get everything up to temperature, especially your brakes, because a lot of these tracks, and this car in particular, you don't actually brake that heavily on.
Clear on the left.
So there we go, I think I just saw the first little spits of rain. Yep, it started. So of course with it raining, there is no mandatory pit stop in this race. You do not have to pit unless you fancy it, unless you really want to. So the question had to be asked as soon as it started raining and we knew we were in for a proper wet race. Do you pit or not? So that was the thought on everyone's mind, I'm sure, as we were driving around in this opening stint and it started raining. Obviously no one was really thinking about pitting at this point because the grip was still quite good. Wasn't anything to worry about at the time. Saying that, looked like we all went a little bit deep into there, so it might have affected us a little bit, being a bit wet. But yeah, the question is, do you pit? Do you risk staying out on the slick tyre, or do you come in, get the wet tyre on and hope to try and claw back that pit stop time that you've just lost by using the wet tyre to its obvious advantage, being better in the wet than the slick? So at the moment we're all staying out, going for another lap. On to lap 3 now.
Falling behind to the car in front in sector 2.
I like the little radio messages like that. So although it's not any massive information, it's not a great deal of exact information, exact corners that I've been losing time on or anything like that, but I know just from crossing the line there I've lost time on the car in front in sector 2, so I need to work on that. I like it because it gives you a little target for this lap, basically clean up sector 2, so I quite like that little voiceover man, your little engineer. Anyway, it's good battle going on here. RV Motorsport's dropped off the back of Mamster now and looks to be struggling a little bit with the grip, as it is getting damper and damper every single corner. I wouldn't say it's wet yet, there's no actual surface water on the track, but certainly getting damp. So incredibly close now, Gnarly Pop right on the bumper of RV Motorsport. I'm not far behind, looking to make any kind of move if RV makes a mistake at any point. Good driver so far and is shown through this season. Did go deep into there though, and because Gnarly Pop was on the outside, it took him deep with him. There was no contact, but they both ended up losing time through that corner, which allowed me just to pull through. Didn't quite get both of them, but got through on Gnarly Pop. Sticking it to the right hand side, defensive into this one to try and keep my position. Gnarly Pop right on my bumper, heading into the braking zone, and there we go, managed to stay ahead. Not for long though, if I remember rightly. Heavy on the brakes, closing right up to RV Motorsport. You really see the concertina effect on this game. Get bumper to bumper on the brakes, and when he actually gets back on the power, he's got the gap again into the next straight or next corner, whatever it might be. You really do notice that concertina effect. You'll notice it here again, get really quite close on the brakes, but then he gets on the power that bit earlier than me, so then pulls the gap again. Anyway, so like Mamster went a little bit wide into there, so maybe possibly lost a little bit of time. It's not necessarily the time loss that's important at this stage, it's the confidence. And these little moments saw the opportunity maybe to have a little dive there, completely got it wrong as RV Motorsport closed up the corner a little bit. I tapped him a little bit and it gave him a massive pile of oversteer to catch. So luckily he caught it nicely enough. I backed out to give him a chance to catch it. I could have forced him round there, but obviously that wouldn't have been very very sportsmanship of me. What's the word? Sportsmanly of me? Sportsmanlike? I don't know how to say it. Anyway, you know what I mean. So backed out of it, he managed to regain it, but big moment of oversteer I gave him to worry about there. But yeah, the confidence can go after a couple of little incidents and mistakes in the wet, and then all of a sudden you're panicking and thinking about that wet tyre.
Car on the right, clear on the right.
Oh, beam flicker behind, nearly into the back of me, outbroke himself, but incredibly close to going into the back of me. So just looking to get back in this fight now, made that little mistake. Had to back out of that bit of oversteer, of course, for RV Motorsport. I just saw the inside line open up, so I thought, oh, I'll go for it. But when it actually came to being side by side, there wasn't enough room. So, but yeah, that allowed Gnarly Pop through again. So my race really was with Gnarly Pop the whole time in this one. It was really good. Massive moment of oversteer, big slide to catch there. Just about caught it fast enough to not make it into a big deal. But I have lost a little bit of time on the guy's head again. This is the difficulty there. We do not know what the grip level is going to be like every single lap here. Because obviously, as I've mentioned, it's getting wetter and wetter, as rain tends to do to tarmac or asphalt, whatever you want to call it. I wonder if there'll ever be a game where the rain's like actually really accurate, or the weather's really accurate. So you're in like some tropical environment, location, track, then you know, when it rains it really comes down. There's some kind of like monsoon kind of thing, and obviously in Britain you just get constant drizzle the whole time and the odd really heavy blast every now and again, and it actually changes per country. That'd be pretty cool. So just trying to keep myself involved in this battle ahead and pick up any pieces if there's any kind of mistakes going on. But at the moment they're both driving quite well. It is tricky, can't really force it. I got a nice little inside opening at the apex there from Gnarly Pop, who invited me, but when it turns out I turned up, he didn't want me there, so went back through. I had a little sniff at getting past him again then. Bit of oversteer to correct, same as Gnarly. Looked like we had the same kind of dance with the rear end going on there on the exit. Beam flicker not far behind now as well. Constantly being there in the rear view mirror, but keeps dropping back a little bit and then getting closer again.
We are halfway through, not over yet.
Yeah, out of my the three rounds that I've raced in this championship so far, every single round's had a wet race in it.
Car on the right.
I'm getting quite good at this. Actually really enjoying it as well. I used to hate wet races on other games because you just knew it was going to be a really slow, boring race, but on this it does actually make it quite exciting. It's good. Gnarly Pop going a little bit deep, going wide on the exit. So RV Motorsport and Mamster both diving in the pits this lap, allowing Gnarly Pop to drive through into first place, and I just carry on behind him in second now. So the pit stop on this track will be, I don't even know because I didn't do one, but I'm guessing it'll be a good 50 seconds maybe, possibly you'll lose, certainly a good 45 seconds. If not even more, you probably lose even more than that, maybe even a minute, I'm not even sure. So I know it's a lot of time you lose there, so you've got a lot of time to make up basically on that wet tyre if you go for that pit stop. So me and Gnarly Pop chose the opposite. We basically just braved it out and didn't bother. As the rain got worse and worse, we were getting slower and slower, but we managed to keep it on track most of the time. Look at that, he just had a little slide into there with the rear end, and it's allowed me to catch right up, just being that little bit smoother. Right on the bumper again. Me and Gnarly have pretty much been going at it for 15 minutes at this point in the race now. Been more or less bumper to bumper every lap. Been brilliant stuff.
Clear on the left. Car on the left. Clear on the left.
I actually went for a little bit of a bump draft on him there, and then he moved across, and I ended up not wanting to hit him then, so I ended up going on the grass a little bit, but it allowed me through.
Car on the right.
So I'm not sure.
Clear on the right.
I'm not sure if I should have done that, but it worked because
Clear on the left.
I got through, even though it was slightly on the grass, a bit unorthodox. But I actually went for it, I don't know why, because I tried everything else. I think I was running out of options, but I went for a little bump draft on him, and I didn't feel like it was a dangerous place to do it on the track. It would have just boosted him down the hill a little bit, but I know from experience people don't like bump drafts, and it's not necessarily the worst thing to do to someone, I don't think personally. But it makes them uncomfortable because they know that you're right there, you're putting the pressure on even more, you're actually hitting the bumper. So they are likely to make a mistake because of it, or make a mistake because they're going slightly quicker into that corner that they have to brake for after you've bump draft them, and they might get it wrong because they've got that extra mile an hour or two because of your little bump draft that you're giving them. So anyway, that time it didn't work out whatsoever, and he ended up pulling over to the left hand side and missed him. Went on the grass and got past somehow, and then he outbroke himself into the next one, and they managed to keep it. So I felt like I kind of robbed him because I don't know if he knew what I was trying to do. But anyway, this is racing. I wasn't going to give it him back at this point. I didn't actually make contact, so I guess he can't really complain. It was just a bit of an odd move that I did. Got way too early into there then, and took a really bad line through the apex, took me out wide on the exit. On the plus side, that line on the exit does give you a straight line, just to put your foot straight down. I only had the traction control on 2, so I had to be careful with the throttle. Now it's wet. I haven't set up a button, I know you can do it, but I haven't set up a button so you can change traction control whilst you're driving. So whatever I set it at before the race is what I've got it at for the race, and maybe need to sort that out as it keeps raining every week and catching me out a bit. The other weeks I've managed to turn the traction control up or deal with it, but I didn't want to because the beginning of this race was dry, so I wanted to start on the dry setup. Anyway, we're on to lap 9 now. I've pulled a little gap away from Gnarly Pop, but not a big one. The gap is now up to 1.5 seconds roughly, thereabouts. He's still there though, and look at him closing in on the brakes. He's outbroke himself a little bit into the T1, but it's not that big an issue into T1. It's that wider part of track that you can regain it without going off. Does lose your time obviously, but don't necessarily see you flying into the barriers at 100 mile an hour. So just trying to dance my way through these corners now, as we have absolutely no grip on this slick tyre in the wet. It's fully wet now. The track has no real dry line. tiptoeing. If you notice the lap times as well, I'll start pointing them out from this point. The last lap was a 1:58, so watch these lap times just keep increasing. It started getting a bit scary at one point whether these guys on the wet tyre were actually going to make the time up. You could add like 2 seconds on the lap almost if it got that slow. I don't think it was actually that bad at this point. You can tell by going through this corner. I actually had a little bit of grip to get through that corner there. Later on you have zero grip into there. So just over 6 minutes left, and it's down to me and Gnarly Pop to just try and keep it on track here. Do our best to try and secure first and second in this race with our rather dangerous strategy of slicks in the wet. But what I can't emphasise it enough, it's absolutely brilliant fun. And you feel like you've achieved something as well, I've got to say, when you've managed to drive round lap after lap and it's never really been completely settled and the car's never felt 100% in control, then you feel some kind of achievement when you actually manage to do it lap after lap. It's good, really good. I know from my go-karting days as well, done a bit of go-karting on slick tyres in the wet, and you've certainly got a little bit more grip on this game than that. It's absolutely deadly on a go-kart. In a go-kart, in the wet. You generally tend to do that though, you know, like arrive and drive places. If you don't have your own go-kart basically, you're not going to put wet tyres on. And they never do, so if you ever go go-karting outdoor in the wet, Jesus Christ, you'll know exactly what I'm on about. It's like ice driving, but I assume you'll have a little bit more grip if you were driving in the ice, because it's that bad. Can't see how you'd have worse grip. But it's also good fun. Anyway, I digress. At least it's still racing related. Just trying to hold on to it for these last couple of laps. Not long left, 4 minutes, couple, what's that, about 3 laps left. I had a little bit too much fuel on as well because of the wet. I ended up finishing with quite a lot of fuel left compared to what I did in the dry race. Again, worked it out for the dry, not for wet. So could have taken a little bit of fuel out had I have worked it all out, but there you go, no big dramas. I mean, first at the moment didn't do me too much harm. Just trying to keep it going. You see how slow I'm going now, just trying to get through these corners. It doesn't matter how slow I have to go, just need to try and not make a mistake, keep it on track. Guy behind's not really catching me either. He's there, he's still there, he's within a second and a half behind me. And he does get closer towards the end as well, but yeah, it won't necessarily about speed at this point. Guys behind on the wet tyre no doubt will be going quicker than we are, but they've lost all that time in the pits, and they won't be, it's not like they're going 10 seconds a lap quicker. They'll be going, I don't know, I didn't even try it, but I would assume like 4 seconds, maybe 5 seconds a lap quicker on the wet tyre. Probably not even that, I don't know, 3. I'm completely guessing on this game. Whenever I say anything like that, I'm completely making it up, by the way. I'm just completely assuming. That's what I would expect. Could be completely wrong. And probably are. Again, look how slow into there. Looks like I've slowed the video down. Gnarly Pop's coming back at me now. He's got the gap down to less than a second, and if you look in the rearview mirror, closing right up on me into the last corner there. So we are going to be heading over the line to start the last lap this time round. There we go.
Going to final lap as leader. Bring it on.
Just got to keep it under control for one more lap. It's certainly not the easiest of asks, but I've managed it so far. But gnarly pop's putting the pressure on now as well, so just had to keep it calm, keep the car under some kind of control. Gained a little bit on gnarly pop through a good exit. Got the gap back up to half a second. That's really nothing. Notice on this game as well, the rearview mirror is a bit deceiving. It looks like they're absolutely miles away, and then you look at the delta, and like I say, it's like half a second. So if I lost like half a second in a corner, which is quite easy to do, don't look in the rearview mirror like he'd catch me up, but he should do obviously. If I lose half a second, he catches me up, but it just looks like he wouldn't from how far away it looks in the mirror, if that makes any sense. God, I waffle on. Anyway, coming towards the end of this one, just want to get it in there really, because it wraps up pretty quickly. Thank you very much for watching, really do appreciate it. Feel free to hit that like button if you've enjoyed this. Subscribe if you haven't done so already. You never know, you might be the lucky 200th subscriber that wins, I don't know, absolutely nothing. I can't think of anything to give away. But you can just claim that you're 200th subscriber to ADG. What an honour. So yeah, thank you very much for joining me. It's a pleasure to do these videos. I really enjoy watching these back, because it's a good races so far in this championship. Credit to everyone that I'm racing with as well. Couldn't do it without them. And yeah, had some good results, what I wasn't expecting. But I'm sure we'll have some more good races to come.
Excellent job, man.
Right.
What a race. P1. Bring it back on stage.
I'll have a look at the results. So I ended up winning in the end. I was happy about that one, as you could hear. Gnarly Pop in second, NxtGen Beam Flicker in third, NxtGen Ultra in fourth, RV Motorsport in fifth, so on and so on. I could go all the way through the list, but it's about to switch and disappear, so I won't get a chance to finish it. Anyway, take care once again. Thank you for watching. Bye for now.